It's a common misconception that you need money to start a business. You don't, and I'm going to show you the 8 ways that you can start a company with no money. And I've built 19 companies, 15 of them with no money, many of which I sold for multiple millions of dollars. So if you can't watch for 5 minutes and learn what took me 30 years to learn, then I've got some news for you. You're probably not going to make it. Now let's go. I'm sure most of you are in the early stages of trying to start a business, but I'm going to talk through the whole cycle. And the reason it's important to understand the whole cycle, even if you've got no money today and you're starting a company using some of the early strategies I'm going to give you, you need to know the end game on raising money. You need to know where it might go so that as you build the business, as you raise money, you do it right. Because if you raise money wrong, it will stop you raising money later. And you need to know what happens later to raise money right now. So the first strategy I'm going to give you, I'm going to talk about how to get the first $10,000. Getting the first 10,000 is actually super easy. Now, the obvious way is to go to people that know you best. So we call this the family and friends strategy. Now, I know when you listen to that, you might be like, well, Simon, I don't have any family and friends that have $10,000. You're wrong. You've limited yourself. You might not have a direct family member that has that money, but you know somebody in your family that has that money. You just haven't asked them and you haven't pitched to them something that makes them feel like they're gonna make money working with you. If you don't believe in your idea, no one will believe in your idea. But the great thing about the family and friends strategy, if you really dig in, is that they know you best. If your dad recommends you to your uncle, you're going to get the money. Now, how do you frame it so that this money actually comes to you? If you do know someone, distant cousin, great grandfather, anybody that might have the money, you have to make sure you frame it correctly. So how do you frame it to get money from them? Now, the first step is always be honest. Tell them they could lose all their money. Now, it might seem like saying that, well, why would I give you money if I'm going to lose all my money? But it establishes with people that you're honest. And that is one of the best things in sales. Not what you've been told about sleazy car salespeople. I've done a whole video on sales if you want to learn about that. But I know for a fact, if you lean in and say, look, this is my idea. This is what I'm going to do. This is how you're going to get your money back. This is what I'm going to do to make sure you get your money back. But there is a chance you'll lose all your money. You will build honest relationships with your family and friends. You don't want to have Sunday dinner sitting around a table where you've lost their money and you told them you were guaranteeing getting it back for them and you haven't. But I promise you there is someone in your family that can give you the money. Now, friends is an interesting one. I'm also going to talk about this a little bit later in one of the other points, but I honestly think that another option people don't explore is if you look at all businesses that have started out and been successful, Airbnb, Facebook, all of the founders of those companies basically got the money initially from their friends. And so someone in your university, someone at your school has money, maybe they have a trust fund, maybe they have a little nest egg, they can put money into your business. My guy here behind the camera, Callum, put money into my business. And he looks poor on the outside, but he put money into my business. Now, I do it for a different reason. I do it because I want him to be committed, which he is. He's here right now, making this video with us now. But I'm trying to teach you something. You'll be surprised that people you think have no money, like Callum, actually do. And if you have a good enough pitch, if you have an honest enough pitch, if you have a most compelling pitch possible, those people will invest in you. So don't overlook family and friends. And I know people say, don't mix friends with business. They're wrong, they're wrong, they're wrong. Sometimes friends in business can literally be like your army. They will fight for you. Don't tell yourself it's a bad idea to have friends in the business. Tell yourself it's good to have structure around that deal. Do a proper term sheet if friends come in. I'll put a term sheet down below. Do a proper agreement about the rules of the business, who makes decisions and how. Again, I can put an employment framework in links down below. Do not limit yourself by thinking your family and friends are not good investors. They can be great investors. Now, I'm going to give you an alternative 0 to 10 a bit later if you don't want to go down the family and friends route, but I don't want you to overlook it. The next strategy generally is, again, 0 to 200,000 US. And this is angel investors.
Now, when it comes to raising money, it's important you stay organized at all times. For this, I like to use Notion. If you don't know what Notion is, I'm going to give you a little demo. Notion is basically a productivity platform that helps users manage their work, including tasks, projects, and knowledge. And this is now made even more powerful with the new Notion AI, which I love. You can use Notion AI to keep on top of all your angel investment outreach. For example, Notion AI, please give me a list of all the top angel investors in the UK. Okay, that's great, but now I want it in a different format. Notion AI, can you please organize these into a structured table so I can easily tick off the ones I've contacted? Okay, maybe we can go one step further. Notion AI, can you add a column for contact information and a column for money raised? Perfect. This will really help you keep on track for your potential investors. Now that is all amazing, but I could also really use a list of US-based angel investors. Notion AI, can you create exactly the same for top angel investors based in the US? Perfect. Now we have all that sorted. I want to send a message. Notion AI, can you draft a unique message for each of the investors in the list above? This is so incredible. I'm thinking about all the time this has saved me. In the past, to build my businesses, it's taken me weeks, if not months, to do what we've just done in seconds. Another really cool feature of the new Notion AI is that you're able to connect to your Slack and Google Drive accounts, allowing you to ask Notion AI information from both platforms without leaving your Notion workspace. For example, Notion AI, please summarize this raising money video I have saved. Wow, look at that. It just blows my mind. It's broken this video down step by step for me. This is super powerful stuff. I mean, I could take this video now, make it a PDF, and you could also read it as a PDF, but all summed up, down to watch the whole video. Like, this is incredible. And to top it all off, and this is important to me, Notion AI will never share your data for any AI training purposes. Only obtaining information from places you have access to. Get started with Notion for free and unlock the new Notion AI feature for just $10 a month using the link on screen now.
Now, angel investors, a lot of people misunderstand them. I think the top line thing I can teach you straight off about getting an angel investor and how this piece works is there's a load of people out there with money who are lazy and they want their money to work for them. Honestly, there's millions of people like this. And they make money in their jobs as doctors or lawyers, but they can't really scale, so they try to invest in other people's hard work. And honestly, the only way to make real money in this world is own equity in a company anyway. So what do? They buy equity in companies. And you know, the worst examples of this are like Shark Tank and Dragon's Den, people sitting in chairs, oh, I've got all this money and you need it. That's not actually how it is, right? So I'm an angel investor. I've invested in 78 companies. Nearly every single one of those companies that I've invested in, I felt honored and lucky to invest in them because the people that gave me the opportunity to invest in them framed it correctly. First step to getting an angel investor, the psychology of it is, if you want money, don't ask for money straight up. The way to do it is ask for help. The rule is, if you ask for help, you'll get money. If you ask for money, you'll get help. Now, the irony of angel investors is that they actually want to give you their money. They do, because money sitting in a bank account, even today, the interest rate's not as bad as it used to be, but 5%, it's not exciting, it's not interesting. They, as angel investors, don't learn something. They, as angel investors, if they're smart people, they can't influence the outcome of the investment. If you put the money into Tesla, you can't make the Tesla stock go up with your skill. So angel investors, the other thing is they want to feel like they can influence the outcome of the investment. And actually for you want to make sure these people can help you be successful. So not only do you want to profile, have they got the money? Can they invest in you? Will they invest in you? But the most important thing is, if they invest in you, will they bring value? Now you can go on all sorts of different angel investment sites. I'm going to put a link down below to a list of all the angel investors. There's a lot of hidden angel investors, people that don't talk about it, but there's a lot of people that also list themselves as angel investors, including me. You can go see all the businesses I've invested in on simonsquibb.com if you want to see. Now, this is another key thing about angel investors. You want to understand what they've invested in the past. Because if you understand what they've invested in the past, it will make you realize whether or not your business is a fit. And it can help you also tailor your pitch to those investors. Angel investors are everywhere. Every restaurant you go to, every time you walk down the street, there'll be an angel investor walking by you. You want to be ready with your pitch, and it should be a question. If you had this business, what would you do? If you had this opportunity, how would you execute on it? Get those angel investors excited about your idea. Angel investors are everywhere. Do not be lazy though. Be ready for angel investors in a way that means understand that angel investor. Get deep into what they do if you can. Research them. Don't just send blank emails to hundreds of people from the links I've sent you down below. Instead, tailor make it. Realize what they like to do. Realize what they're interested in, because the sales process of getting an angel investor is 1, do they like you and do you like them? Second is, do they need you, do you need them? And the third step always happens. The investment will come in your bank account if you follow the first 2. If they like you and they need you, always the third bit, making it happen, happens. So follow this. Angel investors, I'll put the links down below. They're a huge source of revenue and there's millions of them. Number 3, one of the most exciting, yet one of the most under-realized opportunities to help start your business with no money. You probably heard it, crowdfunding. Now, crowdfunding is one of the most misunderstood parts of raising money for a business. Most people think that, for example, you need a product to go and crowdfund. You don't need anything to crowdfund. And there are 4 different ways, 4 different styles of crowdfunding, which again, I think a lot of people don't understand. If you understand it, you'll realize what I've been saying from the beginning of this video, you don't need money to start a business. Now, the first one is probably best illustrated by a platform like GoFundMe. We just raised $10,000 for an entrepreneur on GoFundMe. And all it simply was a video of her dream, and we put it up, and 111 people decided they're gonna support her. Strangers are gonna support her. And so people think that you can only do platforms where there's no value to the person who's giving you the money. Not true. There's a lot of amazing humans out there, despite what the media have told us. Humans are amazing and they want to help you. You just need to make it easy for them. So some people only gave $10, other people gave $50. Some people went mental, fell in love with her story and gave $1,000. That's the way the world is. The world is kinder than you think. And platforms like GoFundMe don't expect you, as the person doing the crowdfunding, to give anything to the person who you're crowdfunding from. And you can sell on your dream. People will fund you. Again, it's happened many times for the people that I've been helping on my videos. It's a great way to get what you need. Now, the next thing, again, you're gonna see how all 8 of these strategies tie together. And this is a quick example. Your family and friends, you might not wanna ask them directly to fund you. But if you do a GoFundMe and you let them know you're doing a GoFundMe, they will support you. Again, Maddie, the lady we just raised $10,000, a lot of them there were also her friends. And then her friends promoted the GoFundMe link to their social networks. Because a lot of the GoFundMe style raising, the non-equity raising, is about community. It is about asking people to help you. The hardest thing in this world is to ask for help. I honestly think those people that ask for help deserve the most amount of respect. This is a great, cool, simple, fun way of doing it. Now, there's plenty of platforms out there that can help you do this. I just happen to love GoFundMe. They don't sponsor this video. I just think it's a really good platform and people kind of understand it when they hear it. And this is a great way. You don't need to sell equity in your business to raise money, and you don't need a sob story to sell your business. You just need a good idea that people want to support you to make happen. Next up, product crowdfunding. Now, you can have an idea, and it does work best if it's a product. You can say, right, I'm going to do this whiteboard, but this whiteboard's gonna be good, and it's gonna have your branding etched in it, and it's going to sing happy birthday to you on your birthday, whatever it is. Then you can say this idea. You don't need to make the product. You can say this idea in a good video, put a camera in front of your face and record it, and you can put it up on these platforms, and then people can pre-buy this product. So this product will be £10, $10. Would you buy it? Let me know in the comments if you would buy it, so I can make it for you. The point I'm trying to make here is that's how crowdfunding works on a product level. And example sites are platforms like Indiegogo and Kickstarter. I'm actually right now trying to get Kickstarter to sponsor us actually, so if they see this video, please sponsor us. And the reason I want them to sponsor us is because I believe this product, these types of products, are not explained to the public properly, and I think they're great ways, if you've got no money, of getting prepaid for an idea you have. A lot of people, for example, want to launch garment companies. They want to have a hoodie, and you can pre-sell your hoodies. You can test your market penetration of the product. You can see how many people might order it. Too many people go and order all the product and then can't sell it. If you can pre-order it, then you know how many people will buy it. And so Kickstarter, Indiegogo, these platforms are brilliant for this. You basically don't even need a product. Get that out of your head that you need a finished product. That's what stops you, because you don't need money to do these types of things. You just need an idea and you need it explained well in a video. Next type of crowdfunding is basically equity crowdfunding. Now, there's thousands of platforms doing this now, and there's all sorts of different ways to do it, but the basic principle is a bit like crappy Dragon's Den. You can sell equity to people, but instead of having one investor that can perhaps end up, like on Dragon's Den, taking over your company or not following through, this is a community of people investing, right? It's not relying on one person to, after the TV show, go through with it. You can tell I don't like Dragon's Den that much. You actually can get thousands of people to invest in your business and own equity. Now, there's so many benefits to this. I'm going to do this for HelpBank. I'm going to do a crowdfunding campaign for HelpBank. I want the community that are on HelpBank, the people that help on HelpBank, to own HelpBank. Then you have an army of people that care about your product as much as you do because they're equity owners. Now, the way that crowdfunding generally works in this way is you go and raise money a little bit in advance yourself. Again, ideally, back to the things I've already teaching you, family and friends and so on. And then you go to crowdfunding platforms and they list you. Now, some of them are good at marketing, some of them are not so good at marketing. I'm going to put some links down below to a few. Seedrs, Crowdcube, they're the UK versions. I'll put US and UK versions down below. But the key with equity crowdfunding is ideally you want people who are going to come in, invest, and I think the holy grail on this is they are users, they are buyers, they are customers, they are people that are going to engage in your business. Now, of course, if they're just straight up investors, fine. They'll all sit in one vehicle. So you won't have thousands of shareholders, you'll have one entity. All the investors will go into that one entity and then they'll own 10% of your company or 15% of your company. So you won't have thousands of people necessarily to manage. But I would say that is also a way of building community. If once those people have invested, you can build a place where you can communicate with them, whether that's WhatsApp, Telegram, whatever it is. It can be hugely powerful. If you have a new product drop, a new idea, you want to get their feedback on, that investor community can end up being your biggest fan base, the people that promote you, the people that buy your product. And I don't think people understand how far they can take equity crowdfunding. They're too busy thinking just about the money. If you can build a community around your fundraise, your business, I guarantee it will be successful. And again, you don't need money to do this. You can promote this idea to a community of investors and you don't need a lot of money to make it happen. Now, there is a final crowdfunding option that I've never seen anyone do except us. I believe that this social media stuff now is so powerful, there's so much impact that you don't need to follow any of these platforms that are out there. This is probably going to end up getting me cancelled from Kickstarter sponsoring us. So what we did recently, it was a young man pitched to our doorbell, his dream was to launch a new nutrition health product. We posted his video up on LinkedIn, and in the comments in LinkedIn, people all agreed to invest in his business. And literally, we just sent a link to his bank account and people put the money in. The end, right? So social media crowdfunding, again, I know it's hard for people to ask for help. I know it's hard to put yourself out there and be vulnerable, but if you do, just use social media and you'll be shocked. These platforms will all take commission, these platforms will all have their ways of working, and I probably just got my sponsorship deal from Kickstarter cancelled, although I believe in platforms like Kickstarter for certain things. But honestly, just put it out there. Like crowdfund within your social media community is powerful and is possible. Now, the next 3 strategies I'm going to go through with you are actually how to raise hundreds of millions of US dollars. Now, I know when I tell you that, instantly you're thinking, well, this isn't for me. This part is so important. I wish they would teach it at school. If you can just sit through this bit, even though you think it's not relevant to you, you'll pick up knowledge that will help you make it relevant to you later. But if you don't have the knowledge now, you won't be able to make it relevant to you. So these 3 steps are how to raise 1 to 10 million, how to raise 10 million to 100 million, and the big one, 1 billion. Now, I know as soon as you hear those numbers, you think it's not relevant to you, but you just need to quickly understand this so that it can help your business in the future as you grow it. So quickly, 1 to 10 million is generally what we call super angels. So I actually have a super angel involved in one of my businesses, an investor called Yatsu. He's also an entrepreneur. He owns his own business called Animoca. He's been a friend of mine for 20 years. And he is what I will call a super angel. He's someone that has the ability to put a large amount of money. Of course, famous ones such as Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, of course, these people are also potentially super angels. These are people that will put 1 million, 5 million, 10 million into your company and not even think twice. Now, the reason I want you to just understand that segment is because you never know. You might get stuck in the lift with one of these people one day. Be ready. Maybe even plan out in your head, if you could get 10 million, what would you spend it on? Because when you're getting this sort of money, people want to know what you're going to do with the money. Is it going to make a difference in the world? How is it going to make a difference in the world? How are you going to turn that 10 million into 100 million, 500 million, 10 billion? Super angels are worth thinking about because you just never know when you might come across one. You never know when you might need one. Understand the mindset of these people is often, yes, a return on their investment, definitely, but not always. Most of the time, shockingly, billionaires can actually be pretty decent individuals and they just want to figure out how to make their money do amazing things. So Think about super angels. The 10 to 100 million, also not out of your reach. I don't care who you are, it's not out of your reach. And these are super VCs, venture capitalists. These are people that will be looking at buying businesses, turning businesses around. Now, VCs generally have a bad name, so you've got to be a little bit careful. Brands like BlackRock, for example, one of my favorite brands called Oatly. They're an oat milk brand. I love them. And then BlackRock invested in them. They're a super VC, and a lot of their customers refuse to work with them anymore because BlackRock invests in all sorts of weird things that people don't like. So you've got to be careful with this category and not get the wrong people involved. But there are people sitting on 100 million right now looking to deploy it. Now, I know it might not be relevant to you right now, but I want you to know about this because it doesn't matter how big your ambition is, it's possible. Every single day, these super VCs invest 100 million in a company. So it could be you. Once you understand it, at least you know it, it's there. Not saying it's relevant to you now, but you've got to know it. Number 6, the 1 billion. Yep, that's a B, a big B. IPO, pre-IPO. Now, a lot of people think they need to build their business up and sell it. That's the goal. No, you don't need to sell your business to make a lot of money. You just need to build a great company. And I want you to know how pre-IPO and IPO works. I'm going to put a link down below to what is the criteria to get a business to IPO. It's quite a detailed thing, very elaborate thing. In this video, it might not seem relevant, but I want you to understand it because it is relevant if you have the ambition to grow something very, very, very big. So I'm gonna just highlight these 3. I'm not gonna go into any more detail about them. I'm gonna put some links down below that will help you understand more about them if you want, because I wanna move on to what I'm really excited about. Strategy 7 and 8, in my opinion, will make you a lot of money, make your business successful, and I wanna get straight onto those. But I didn't wanna miss these when it comes to raising money, and for you to understand how the system works, it's very important. Okay, strategy 7 and 8. They're kind of linked. These are my favorite things, and I'm pretty sure you've never heard of them either. The first one is brand partnerships. Now, you might think by me just describing it, brand partnerships, brands pay you money, that's it. It's so much more than that. My last company, Fluid, that I built up to be one of the largest creative agencies in Asia. I sold to PricewaterhouseCoopers, the largest accounts company in the world, and that all started from a brand partnership. So we just worked with them to service clients, and that ended up them acquiring us. Brand partnerships can also, throughout my career, power up businesses in all sorts of ways. So for example, I launched a business called Coaster Ads, which was basically advertising on drinks coasters. And I didn't want to pay for, let's say, samples, or I didn't want to pay to do anything until I got an advertiser. So I managed to get United Airlines on board as an advertiser from day one. I charged them 50% up front, which covered all my costs to launch the business. So I launched a business that made £2 million profit with no money. Right? So I'm not only telling you how to do this, I've done it many times. And so United Airlines were very excited about advertising on this Coaster Ads model that we had, where we put all these coasters in bars and restaurants. The 50% deposit that I charged them for that idea, for that service, paid for all my costs to launch the business. Right? People don't realize these brands often lack innovation. They lack imagination, and they need you. They need you and your idea, whatever it is. And most of the time, people don't realize these brands have money, and you can get it. You just need to bring value to those brands. You need to understand these brands have one simple goal. The people that run them don't want to get fired. You want to bring value so they don't get fired, but they get extra clients, extra exposure, and it doesn't really break the bank for them. In other words, if they lose that money, it's not the end of the world. So if you're looking to get $10,000 to start a business, a brand can be it. You get them to sponsor your event, or get them to sponsor your new product, or get them to pre-buy your product for their customers. Brand partnerships are a great way of launching a business with no money, and people are not tapping into it, not being taught it. And it's a great way. Brands will work with you if you satisfy their need to make a return on their investment. It's simple. Don't get the people fired that give you the opportunity. Those are the 2 criteria. Number 8, I'm going to label up as co-founder. You may or may not know, but I started this whole platform 5 years ago. And then I launched helpbank.com, a platform to help people for free start a business, help people for free get the knowledge they need, and have a community to help them. 2.5 years into this business, I brought in some co-founders. some people that invested in the business, that helped the business grow, and they're equity owners in the business and they work in the company. Now, a lot of people misunderstand that if you're a founder, you have to be there from day one. No, that's not true. Not everyone can afford to be there from day one. Not everyone sees your vision at the beginning. I had to spend 2.5 years pretty much working on my own. I had a PA helping me, working on my own initially to build it up. And then when I saw that it could work, then I could ask people to invest, co-founders to come in and partner up with a business. So in other words, sometimes your friends, as I mentioned earlier in point 1, 2, and 3, your family, the member of staff you're dreaming of employing. There might be someone out there right now that you absolutely love, but you think you can't afford them. Go to them as an investor, as a co-founder. Get them to buy equity in your idea and they become a co-founder with you. Don't make co-founder this precious thing that only you own. It's stupid, it stops your business from growing. Go find the employee that you've always wanted. I, for Fluid, brought in someone very senior to run that company. They were number 2 in a very, very big company. I told them, you're never gonna own equity in the company you're working in. They're too short-sighted to realize they should give you equity. So come and buy equity in my company. Come and be a co-founder in my company. Come and be a partner in my company. And you might be asking, how am I gonna get someone who's really expensive to employ to come and work for me and pay to come and work with me? Now you have to remember, your dream is big. Your idea is inspiring. You have to have those factors in there. Ideally, have a purpose. Save the human race. That's how Elon Musk gets people on board. He gets investors on board, he gets people to come and work with them because he's not competing with NASA. He's saving the human race by populating Mars with humans. So when this planet gets destroyed, we don't die. You don't want to go work for him. You don't want to go invest in him. You don't own equity in a platform like that. You have to think big. You have to help the people that are going to join you think big. And the truth is, most people out there are working for dumbass companies who don't give them equity, who only allow them to earn money from their time, and time is not scalable. You sell the dream. You have to sell to these people that yes, they're spending money to come and invest in your business, to come and work with you, but they will make a difference to their lives, make a difference to the world. That's how you get these people on board. You have to think, so why not think big? I hope you got a lot of value from this video. I'm starving, I'm gonna go get some chicken now. If you did get value, let me know in the comments. You guys are awesome. Go out there and make your dream happen.